And no fair, just compensation for property that we own, they don't.
And that is Gary Gallipaeau talking to our Abby Davis last spring, just months after he got an eviction notice. After a couple of extensions, Gallipaeau and the few remaining mobile home owners now have to be out by the end of the month.
But he and a local housing advocate say the developer made false promises and the city, well, they won't get back to them, he says. Abby joins us now. So Abby, what's going to happen with Gary and his place and the rest of the residents in the Garden City Mobile Home Park?
Yeah, well, DeMar Mobile Home Park isn't the first or last Garden City Mobile Home Park to be redeveloped. The city's mayor says everything has been done by the book. Other people I talked to disagree.
I was friends with a lot of these people.
For more than a decade.
Be 14 years in March.
Gary Gallipaeau has called DeMar Mobile Home Park in Garden City home. But real estate developer Vita Properties is turning the park into a 90-unit multifamily housing apartment complex. Gallipaeau says he has to be out by December 31st, almost 1 year after getting the eviction notice.
I'm not against having to leave this place, but trying to find a new place to live is just ridiculous in this town.
When KTVB first talked to Gallipaeau last spring, he was mainly concerned about not getting compensated for his mobile home. Under federal law, his home, along with the homes of most other people in the park, are too old to move. Since then, Gallipaeau and Intermountain Fair Housing Council investigator Lori DeCare say they've sent letters to the developers and Garden City officials asking for help, but haven't gotten a response.
Some of these homes in this trailer park, people paid over $30,000, and they've had to walk away from that investment with no compensation, nothing, even though they had promised us some concessions.
We've basically been trying to get them to come to the table. Let's talk about what's going on, the harm that's happening to the community members, and how we can mitigate that. And no one really has been willing to come to the table and talk to us.
DeCare says DeMar isn't the only mobile home park disappearing in Garden City. Data collected by the Intermountain Fair Housing Council shows about 20 parks have closed since 2011.
A lot of mobile home parks are in their crosshairs because they've been upzoned, which means the city changes the laws regarding what sort of development can happen on the property.
Garden City Mayor John Evans says the city isn't targeting mobile home parks. Part of the reason why they didn't respond to the letters about DeMar.
The Fair Housing Council makes accusations that don't warrant a response in my estimation, essentially accusing the city of using the zoning code to run people out of town. And that's the way I took it, and that doesn't warrant a response.
At the end of the day, Evans says he feels for Gallipaeau and the other evictees.
It's heartbreaking.
But says the developers are well within their rights.
We've ensured that proper notice was given and that there was adequate time. And there's not really much else we can do about it.
I reached out to Vita Properties but didn't hear back. To prevent other people from ending up in his shoes, Gallipaeau plans on working with lawmakers to hopefully get some more protections passed on the statewide level, because right now, DeCare says there really aren't any at all. Morgan and Brian.
Yeah, and you think about just the lack of affordable housing in Garden City alone and all over the Treasure Valley. Where else do you go?
Right, especially the $30,000 investment years ago. Yeah,
right.
Of course, that would have been worth a lot more money. Thanks, Abby.
A number of schools